Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. I am Grim the Lazy Gremlin, and this is Let's Talk, the show where I talk about games. Any games, because I want to. So let's talk about Forced Showdown. First of all, I gotta say I was a little surprised at how much I like Forced Showdown. Initially, I was expecting the game to be okay at best, that I would play it for a handful of hours and then move on to something else. It's a pleasant surprise to, on occasion, come across a sort of hidden gem, but I digress. What is Forced Showdown, you might be asking? Well, it's essentially a top-down deck-building action hack-and-slash arena brawler, or at least that's the way I would describe it. The general gist of the game is to pick a character, a companion, build a deck of cards, and then jump in. By far my favorite part of the game is the deck building. Decks consist of a total of 30 cards with 3 different types of cards: spells, consumables, and upgrades. It's also good to add that you can only have 2 of the same kind of card in a deck like in Hearthstone. Mana gain is also identical to Hearthstone, with similar spell cards to boost mana gain for a turn or so. And this is something I appreciate Hearthstone for doing. Getting rid of that god-awful land system that many card games seem to use is a big thumbs up for me. Spells are played at the beginning of a round for one-time effects, while consumables are temporary power-ups that can be used at any point after played. Upgrades, on the other hand, are just that, permanent upgrades for the character. Using these various cards, you can build your character up from powerful to unstoppable. Or get stumped by enemies and cry a moment for fucking up, after which proceeding to blame anything but yourself for all your mistakes in life. During my time with the game, I've come to notice a slight lack of balance in regards to card types. Upgrades seem to be overwhelmingly superior to spells, while consumables mostly act as a means to regain health or add additional damage during boss fights. Regarding this, I would love to see spells get buffed slightly, not much, but slightly, to warrant the used space in your deck. Before starting, you need to choose your arena. The only difference, as I've come to note, seems to be difficulty. Once you enter the arena of your choice, you get to choose from 4 different matches with various different effects each. Some of these effects can turn the match into a hellish whirlpool of pure masochistic pleasure or pain, depending on your preference, of course. I found myself gravitating towards the ones that start you up with random benefits, such as upgrades, but increase the number of enemies you need to slaughter, because the more the merrier. Matches are multi-part, consisting of several trash rounds and ending with a boss fight. At the beginning of each round, you get to play cards, as long as you have the mana for it. In a few rounds with enough mana and the right cards, you'll be able to pull off some pretty crazy plays that can have amazing chain effects. Completing a match rewards you with points towards boons. Boons are permanent buffs that range from increased damage to extra mana at the beginning of a match. Unfortunately, boons also seem a little one-sided in terms of effects. Most of the time I found myself going for the extra draws and mana simply because the other effects just weren't up to par. 8% increased damage versus an extra card whenever you mulligan seems like an easy choice to me. You continue to beat match after match until you reach the end boss. These bosses have quite humorous designs and each possess unique mechanics such as artillery, invulnerability, and disappearing acts that are followed by a barrage of pure death. Simply put, the bosses in this game are fantastic and a joy to fight. Beating the end boss cashes you in and gives you points to spend on new cards. Oh, and getting new cards boils down to a game of Wheel of Fortune, where you feverishly pray to the RNG gods for rares and epics, or at least something you can use for further mayhem. Something to note is the enemy variety in Forced Showdown. You'll be meeting and beating, yes, I know how that sounds, various creatures and abominations of different sizes and shapes, from generic human footmen to baneling undead monstrosities that explode on contact. This helps ease the repetition, which essentially is the core of the game. To add to the variety, the game also adds various traps and reinforcements during rounds, and at times the match bosses even fire off some special abilities in hopes of deterring your progress. My only and real gripe with the game is how it handles the camera. Mind you, I play on PC with keyboard and mouse. You control your character's movement with WASD, while the direction you're aiming at, as well as where you're aiming at, is controlled using the mouse. The mouse, however, does not adjust the camera in terms of distance, nor does it help you keep track of where your cursor is at any given time, unlike in games like Enter the Gungeon. Here you can see how Gungeon handles cursor tracking, while from previous gameplay footage you can see that Forced Showdown does nothing to help you keep your eye on the cursor. As for future content, I would love to see more heroes, companions, tile sets and bosses. Oh, and of course, most importantly, new cards. So in case you haven't already noticed, I like Forced Showdown. I like it a lot, and I find myself with the need to spread the word, preach to the masses as it were. If you still haven't played it and think you enjoy what you've heard and seen in this video, I strongly recommend you go out and buy this game. I hope you enjoyed this video and thank you for watching. I'm Grem the Lazy Gremlin and this has been Let's Talk Forced Showdown. I'll see you guys again next week.